Well, they called it dirt, but when I said this project.
Yep, that's from mine.
Because when I said Secretary Chow or whatever I said, he said Chow, you know, you get it, I get it.
No, thank you.
Oh my God.
Okay, we're live.
Did she turn it on? Yeah.
Remind me about Florida.
Select board will come to order. Stand to the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You should just leave it alone.
That's the teacher.
Man,
That's right.
I feel so patriotic having her behind me.
When I start singing.
So, we need a motion to sign the warrants.
I would love to make a motion to sign the
Yes.
warrants.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Second, all in favor?
Jason, nod for the camera there. There you go.
Thank you, Susan, for running the camera tonight.
Cool. She on the committee?
Volunteer.
I love that.
This is how they get you. They're saying you're on a committee.
Yeah. Okay, we need a motion to accept the minutes as written.
So moved.
For November 13th. Someone, I'll make the motion to accept the minutes. And you second it?
I do.
You second? Okay, Rachel and,
She seconded
Rachel and Jay.
We all agree.
All in favor? All right. Old business septic grant. I hear noise.
Speaking of t-shirts.
I know it's not interesting right now. Septic grant replacement bid award.
Awarded to Carver Construction.
Carver Construction was awarded the bid. And Washington Street sidewalk grant, do we need we already made a motion, right? Washington Street sidewalk grant construction award is given to Donnie Hanscom Construction, and it's been approved by the state. So the old business for the Safe Harbor project is, we did get a email from Washington, and they're gonna set up a teleconference with us next week, and there are 7 people on their team to help us, a civil engineer and environmental specialist, and we're gonna find out more about the grant. They did say that it would take at least 2 months to sign the contract, and we did hear from the Butler Foundation today, and they have donated an extra $2,000 to the Safe Harbor Committee project. We have to have a NEPA permit approved before the government will sign the contract, and we have it. It's been submitted. It's about 100 pages long, and there's nothing that they can see at the DEP that needs to be done except a water runoff mitigation kind of like a forest thing. You just have to have a plan of how you're going to deal with the water runoff. So that is what we needed the extra money for from the Butlers, which was Butler Foundation, which we really appreciate, because until that is done and approved, we can't go ahead with the grant. And I would, so part of the team would be Oscar as our resident engineer, Oscar Emerson, Ralph the harbor master, Julie the chair of the Safe Harbor Committee, and Suzette as the treasurer, and then I would like to be, for the time being, the local project administrator. I am certified to do that, so I would need your permission.
Hardly granted,
What
I
would,
think.
a volunteer, no money, other than my stipend.
Yes, yes. I would hardly agree you should be project manager. Definitely.
I'll second that.
You've seen this
For all those
baby
people.
since its birth.
Okay.
Since inception.
So, do you want to call the vote?
Since its inception.
Then I can't call the vote.
Oh.
Perhaps.
I'd like to call a vote on
Yeah.
having our said representative here
Yes.
work as the administrator on a volunteer basis.
I will second
Okay. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Second, Jason, all in favor.
Thank you very much.
So I've also included in it,
All the
Suzette, Julie, Ralph, and.
Oscar.
Oscar.
Oscar's the one that did all the conceptual design work, and
Oscar,
who also
Oscar.
applied for the
Not
NEPA
the
permit, and we need him, and he's actually gonna sign him from North Carolina.
Oh,
Holy Christmas.
So we'll see.
I have something I could mention under old business instead of other. We had talked about the trees at Stockford Park last
Yes.
meeting. The day after the meeting, I contacted Mr. David Stockford, and he had met with a forester. And the forester's advice was to leave the trees, but limb them quite substantially, and that they would provide shelter for the new trees. So that's just me updating you that we're not gonna be taking them down right now completely.
Stockford Park, I thought you
No,
were
not
talking-
Stockford,
Stockford,
sorry,
you're talking
Monument,
about
Monument
Monument
Park.
Park, yes, the trees
Through
at the
Mr.
monument.
Stockford.
Yes, sorry.
That's okay.
Too many stuff. So I'm just letting you know that we're not taking them down right now.
That sounds good.
And I'm gonna meet with Brandon on
Okay,
him
let me
limbing
know.
them.
So do you need any?
his rationale was that they would shade
They would
the,
help shelter the new trees
Shelter.
that we're gonna plant there. So, I didn't know what to do. I had forester here
I
telling you,
think
and then
you
arbor,
should,
arborist on the
Yeah,
other hand.
listen to the arborist.
yeah,
I would listen to Brandon.
that.
Yeah,
And
I
if
would
they're in
too.
terrible shape and they're gonna fall down,
yeah,
that's gonna take out.
They will,
So
so
shelter
they
it until
take
the
the
big
limbs
wind
off,
comes.
they're not gonna,
yeah,
Okay, I'll keep working on that, keep you in the loop.
yeah, okay, good,
Okay.
thanks.
Last time you
Frank
were-
Stockside, we're all good with the old business, new business. Frank's Stockside Restaurant liquor license renewal. I see that we have Wanda here.
And there's your blue pen.
We miss you being open.
New
Yes.
man.
We miss it too.
Yeah. Water Street's a dark, dark place.
You have that.
I saw a tumbleweed there.
Yeah,
Christmas
tumbleweed,
lights up.
right.
For real.
Oh, well,
A
I'll
lone moose will walk down there, nobody will notice.
make a motion that we accept the liquor
Second.
license.
Yes, so
Discussion.
moved, yes.
All in favor?
And the office is open tomorrow, so
Yes.
you can swing by tomorrow if you like me. Get a
Thank
copy.
you.
There you
You're
go.
welcome. Just working that there.
Oh, yeah, you need blue, sorry. Okay, Washington Street sidewalk modification.
Is that you?
Yes.
Just that the state is increasing their side, the whole project amount to $425,000.
Which is what we formally, they
Yes,
formally
formally.
increased it, but we already had, it doesn't involve any more money from us, because we've
Right.
already put, we've
Good.
already set aside the 85,000.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, and as it stands right now, we are under budget, and let's hope it stays that way, and it's
Good.
got to.
Good.
So luckily, we have a wonderful bid from Hampson,
Yeah.
and we're happy to work with him. And we also have a local a resident engineer that's coming for 8 weeks to oversee it. And that construction company and the resident engineer worked together in East Machias last year very well together. So and it's included with his lodging and his fees. So we still have some contingency in case, knock on wood, in case this or that happens.
And this would be for an asphalt surface, but with a concrete curb.
Yes, it was
Okay.
actually less expensive to go with a concrete curb than an asphalt curb. I figure, but I think it would look nice. And they have that in Machias, is it?
Curb appeal.
Con- Curb. I guess we're gonna I'll make a motion. She did. I'll make a motion that we have Renee sign this,
Yes.
updated modification.
Yeah.
I'll second.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
I expect that next fucking day.
I'll put my hand up, well, I was gonna put my hand up, but I'm trying to curb my enthusiasm.
And we're
I'm
all
always worried
Jason
about
did.
that.
I did that.
We're always worried about that.
So, we now are at appointing a school board vacancy. We had a resignation,
Yes.
and we discussed it with the supervisor, their receipt, and with the MMA, and the select board is authorized to fill the position till the end of the year, and then it has to be we voted on
Yeah.
by the people.
So this
I'll
would be
make-
a
I'll make a
substitute.
motion that we appoint Joanne Case.
Second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
You're back in business, Joanne.
You are.
Can I say a couple things?
Yes, please,
You didn't think I
speak.
was gonna come up here and not say anything?
Speak.
I would like to say that I'm sorry that Sinead O'Neill,
Yes.
got done. I think she, was an asset on that board, and I'm sorry that she did.
I agree.
I'll try to do my best. I would like to thank Julie and Carol and the Safe Harbor Board for what they've done, the money that they've received. I think if we had a sketch blown up and put above Dan's head on that wall, no, really, honestly,
It's right back
everybody's
there.
asking.
How about it's right there?
Everybody's asking
We
for
could do it in front of his
It's
head.
right there.
Where is it? Okay, can we put it maybe on the wall? I don't know, maybe, because I don't think people know. They
It might look
ask
like a
about it
straw
all
coming
the
out of
time.
my brain.
But I think you could put it above your head on that wall.
I think it definitely should be up on
Probably-
Quaddy TV all the time.
Yeah,
Maybe
well,
put it on
yeah,
Quaddy
right,
TV.
somewhere when you're,
Yeah.
when you guys
People
are
need
on.
to see this.
She's already in her job, that's very educationally thinking.
And I'd like to thank this group of people for what they've done on the cemetery.
Oh,
What they've done
absolutely.
is just incredible.
It is gorgeous.
And I think that's probably why no
Yeah.
one's here, but I want to thank them as well.
You know.
So, thank you all, I miss you all.
We miss you too,
See
Joanne.
Now she's pulled it.
She's leaving.
Okay,
That's it, we approve them and they leave.
Other business, I don't think we have
I
any other
have
business.
one other thing, there's some loan documents that the bank needed the selectmen to sign from the loan that was approved for the truck.
Okay.
Just check the sign here.
And a beautiful truck it is.
Yes, it is. I spoke to Sonia today.
So you
She
signed that, so.
Yes, I never got a reply
Oh.
from my reply. How is she feeling?
She
Yes.
is at her daughter's house, enjoying the holidays, and she'll be back on Friday, and she's gonna come in and sign this on Monday.
Good. Suzanne did not put her last name,
No.
that's really not.
Well, we were wondering if we had to change the document, because Sonia wasn't gonna be here, but we found out since, so I'll make sure.
Well, I see, everybody's on here. It's just,
I think it's just those three.
okay, you did this one.
Right beside your name, though.
I know I
To
signed
the
something,
right,
Initial it, sign it.
sign it.
and this is a copy, they need 2 copies, is that it?
One copy to the other.
What, you were meant on my birthday? Oh my golly. I should go, woohoo!
Can I quote you on that?
No. So what, is that it? Anything else?
That's
No,
it.
okay. So committee updates. We'll
I have no
sign it. Oh, well, I can update the harbor board, Jason. It's always the
Oh, other
third Monday.
business,
Oh,
Barbara.
Oh, Barbara has other
Yes.
business? Oh, sure. Go ahead,
I'm
Barbara.
sorry we missed the date to get on your agenda.
That's okay.
Um,
Do you wanna come up here?
I can't stand if you
Oh.
don't mind, I'd like to
That's
sit.
okay.
Myself as president of the Historical Society and Maureen as a member and co-coordinator for some of the projects going on, we'd like to give the selectmen an update of what is transpiring this year and what we'll be doing next year. Renee was approached by Vicki Shag about doing something for Remember the Children, the 12 children that died and then the 2 on North Lubec. Renee suggested she speak to us, and she did come up in September, and I took her over to Reverend Stockford's Park and showed her the stone. Vicki would like to have a stone like that. We have to raise funds for a brass plaque with the children's names on it and their date of birth. And Jesse, who paid for did the stone over here, I have been in contact with him, and he is going to do the stone for us. So at some point, I just want to let you know that this June 19th of 2020 is the 84th anniversary of these children's deaths. And I spoke to Jesse the other day, and I've been talking to Vicki. we want to try and have a ceremony as close to that date, commemorating these young lives that were lost. That will
Well,
be
it's a
on-
Saturday.
That will be, well, I don't know if it's definitely gonna be that day, because it depends upon Jesse. He
Okay.
said he's gotta cut the stone and stuff.
Okay.
But it will be placed by the kiosk outside of the Historical Society. And we thought, we can't put it over at Gardner's Lake, that property is now privately owned, and people from Lubec wouldn't go there.
Mhm, no.
Over here, the children lost their lives on the water, but may they peacefully ever look at the water. And she's gonna have, we wanna put lighting, not a lot, just something at night so people can see it, and it'll be on a bed of stone. So I just wanted to let you know that. That will be, you'll see some more on Facebook, and I am working with starting a GoFundMe page, because I know families from these children who lost their lives are all over, and hopefully we can raise some money for that. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Bayview Cemetery. We had planned 4 workshops, one of them we got rained out, so we did have 3. Volunteers cleaned 50 stones this year. Volunteers cut down bushes, the town crew hauled away debris, Dylan Lord provided a generator, Brandon Buhner from Bear and Owl cut down trees and some larger trees and bushes that were covering tombstones. And Lauren will talk to you about one of the tombstones and where this person is from. We are planning additional workshops for the spring of 2020. More information, again, will be on Facebook and on our LHS group page. I'm sorry, I didn't want to miss anything, so I usually don't write things down, so I told them. Anyone can sign up for the workshops. They cost $20, which includes a lunch. We've had people from Cutler, Southern Maine, and Massachusetts come up, so we already know that Mary Alice Look from Whiting wants to bring some of her people here. So when we say it's being done here at Bayview, it's not just for Lubec people, it's for anybody in the surrounding area. Renee, that's a hint for your mother who wants to take the class. So we will be posting, and I will be working with Renee and the ladies up here. I also want to thank them because I did have sign-up sheets here for them, and they were very kind and took those. We are also thinking about putting it out on the website for people like from Cutler, where we can mail it to them and they can send it to us, because maybe that's part of the restriction. They don't want to have to drive to Lubec to sign up. We're trying to make it easier for people. We're also going to be fortunate enough to host a local workshop on standing up the tombstones this July. I spoke to Jessica, who is the president of MOCA, and she was telling me that the gentleman is Mike Ferrini. He is a conservatory of, and how do you say it? Joe, I said I call him, sorry about that, Joe. And he's coming, he visited Canada and took the time to come through, and he said that was the worst cemetery he's ever seen. So he went back and told her, yes, he would do a workshop. I had to give him 4 dates. He picked the one that he wanted. This sign up for this workshop is not being handled through the Historical Society nor the town of Lubec. People will have to go on MOCA's website, and as soon as I know that they can sign up for it, I will post something. It's limited to 20 people, and they can come from anywhere in the state. This is the first class that's being held above Ellsworth ever for this standing up. Joe will be here for 4 days.
That's pretty cool.
And I want publicly to thank the town select board who has given us money to help it. It's $700 a day for this gentleman. And MOCA is paying for the first 4, and the select board is assisting us to pay for the remaining 3, because we think we have so much work over there, it would not get half as much as we need it done. So you can sign up, as I said, for 20. The extra 3 days, we're still going to allow 20 people that were not with the first group, because MOCA's limiting that. I'm sorry. We have a hotel room. We are obligated to provide a shelter for him and his wife and a stipend for a meal. I should have said this before Wanda left. We're hoping maybe some of the restaurants would give a gift certificate so that Joe and his wife can go to dinner, as opposed to us having to raise money for their meal. We are also currently brainstorming on how to raise funds for his hotel and food stipend, which includes a raffle. Lauren has talked to some people, and I've talked to Vicki about getting a basket that maybe we can sell things at the IGA and cans around town. Lauren is going to give you some statistical data in a minute of what we have found in the cemetery thus far. And he's been doing research on some of the prominent people buried in the cemetery, and I'm sure some of you have seen it. He's posting it on Facebook all the time and on the And he's also putting the GPS coordinates in Find a Grave.
Mm.
Lauren will talk to you about how many people we have found that were not in our town records or listed in Find a Grave. Ramsdale Construction, I'd like to publicly thank them already. They have volunteered to supply the pea stone and loam that we need. The Lubec Water Department is not charging us. They're metering it, but they're not charging us for the water that we use in cleaning the stones. We have already coordinated with the 8th grade class. They will be helping us in probably mid-April or late April to clean the stones. They're just going to scrape and water. We're not allowing them to do anything else. They have to do a community project, and they have offered, and we have, I understand, and I'm going to kill it, I think it's Debbie McPhail now. Her class has shown an interest. But as we approach April, we'll go more towards the schools and see. I would like to express my deepest gratitude to all the volunteers who have come out and either cleaned or cut bush, the town crew for hauling it away, the town office members, everybody. This has truly been a community spirit where everybody's chipping in any way they can. And I'm blessed to say I live in a fantastic community. I ask you to just let Lauren share some of the information that he has because it's astounding.
So if you're not familiar with Find a Grave, it's findagrave.com, it's kind of a hobbyist website for people, and I'm not sure how it got started, but it's been around for a long time. And so members will input information from cemetery stones. Some people do this by going to cemeteries. Some people do it by looking at obituaries of the newspaper and adding that information in. So when we got the go-ahead for this project, and I thank you guys for giving us the blessing to do this, I looked at the records that were compiled by Rebecca Hobart and Geneva Longmore, and then put it in book form by Bernard Ross, and compared those names to the names that are listed for Bayview Cemetery within Find a Grave, because those names they're sorted by cemetery. So if you want to look for this cemetery, what we call Bayview Cemetery, within Find a Grave, it's named Lubec Cemetery. So in the Hobart records, there were 860 some, I think, names that were recorded. Within Find a Grave, there were an additional 200 and some names that weren't recorded in the town records. And in the process of, cleaning stones, just being in the cemetery and looking at stuff and looking to see if they were in Find a Grave, we've identified an additional 28 names of people that weren't recorded anywhere. And we found some errors in the records, some errors in Find a Grave, so we're making note of those, making corrections so that stuff is available for people, and it's as accurate as we can make it. So of those 50 stones that we've cleaned, those bear the names of 93 souls. There are approximately, within Find a Grave, there are 1,149 names just in this little cemetery. You would think there was that many names out there, but there is. Of those, 219 are children. That's about 20% of the people that are buried out there. It gives you a good idea of the mortality rate.
Yeah.
When that
Flu,
cemetery was
all
in
kinds
use.
of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. There are at least 48 Civil War veterans out there. There's 4 who were collector of customs. Those were in the early days of the customs service. They were typically appointed by the President of the United States. So that's kind of interesting, I think. There's 4 doctors out there. There's 26 masons. Let's see, one peacetime veteran who actually died at the age of 17 when he drowned in New York Harbor in an accident, and you'll see a story about that on Facebook sometime in the near future. 4 veterans of the Revolution buried there. 2 veterans of the War of 1812. 11 World War I veterans, and 4 veterans of World War II. To add what Barbara said about Joe coming in his workshop, we've started to look at stones that will kind of be a priority for us. I don't know how much say we'll have in that, but he brings equipment that's capable of lifting, I think, 2 tons, maybe more. So obviously, we're gonna look at some of the bigger, heavier stuff for being our priority that we can do while he's here. But we also want to learn, how to properly reset fallen stones, how to repair broken stones. So this is something that we'll continue to work on once we learn how to do this stuff properly. I was told by a man named Walter Guptill, who has worked with Joe on a couple of projects in other cemeteries, and he described to me, or relayed to me, that this Joe has what he referred to as groupies. When he's here in Maine working on stuff, they're gonna do what they can to come here to work with him. Walter himself,
It's a groupie.
yeah, he's a groupie. He's retired. He's already reserved his stay. He's gonna stay here for 7 days and work here. And this is, just a bonus. It's no cost to us. It's just something that he loves to do. So, not only does he have the experience to, work efficiently and effectively, he can also share that knowledge. He'll be a force multiplier, if you will, for Joe while he's here.
The groupies, as Lauren is talking about, they're not counted as the 20. Those are extras. And Mr. Guptill showed up, Walter, at our last one that we held, and he actually in the time cleaned a family member's stone and stood it up in the less than 3 hours that we had the class. I also want to say, and I apologize to Renee that I did not bring it with me because I had Lauren and his wife proofread what I had put in the computer, and information sometimes is missing from the sheets that people have to fill out. But I have created an Excel spreadsheet, and it will tell Renee who we cleaned, the dates they were cleaned, by whom they were cleaned, what it says on their tombstones, the date they died. Any information we can provide will also be here at the town office. And I feel at some point, and I'm doing it, Renee, I'm still working on it because we had a lot of things that were missing. And once the stones got cleaned, you could read clearer what was on there. I need you to just share with them about Mr. Thatcher.
Oh, Mr. Thatcher, yeah. I posted a story about Mr. Thatcher on Facebook recently. He's kind of an interesting guy. He was born in Connecticut, was educated at Yale, lived in southern Maine, Kennebunk, before moving to Lubec. While living there, he was a judge of probate for York County, was appointed as a postmaster there in 1817 when President Monroe apparently visited Maine. He was one of the men that greeted him. I think he was serving as a judge at that time. And he is a descendant of a man named Thomas Thatcher, who was the first minister of the Old South Church in Boston. So he's one of at least 2 that I know of already buried out there that you can tie back to, our colonial roots. So he's an interesting man. I think he thinks like a lot of people who were born and raised here, and a lot of people who have moved here. He was quoted as saying when he was living at Rockland in the later years of his life, I'd rather die in Lubec than live at Rockland.
And they brought him back here to be buried.
Yeah.
And Barbara too, as you're talking, this would be such an incredible story
That's a great
to get out there on like
thought about
PBS
that.
or something like that.
We need just a little bit
Because-
more to entice people to
Yeah,
get there. But
I
yeah.
think somebody should do some legwork on this one.
The other thing
They've
I'd
been
like to
doing
share,
work.
we got a book from Jessica, the president of MOCA, and I asked Lauren if he wanted to read it, and I was perusing through it. There was a famous carver, stone carver, and some of his stones are in that cemetery in Slate. She walked it with Cecil and Lauren that day, and she noticed it. she went back and did some research, and that they are his stones that are there, so this is just more information. I'm sorry if we bored you, but we just wanted to tell you, we're so excited, we are thrilled that the community volunteers, we're looking for more people to help us.
Yeah.
And
It's anything but boring.
great.
It's
it
anything
is,
but boring.
a
And
lot
it's
of
been a
people
long
pass and are
time
just
coming.
astounded by
Yeah.
how it looks. So
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
it's been a
Really
blessing for
appreciate
all
it.
of us that are trying to do some of this, right?
Really nice.
If you guys as a group would like to sometime take a walk through the cemetery with me, so you can get an idea of the scope of the work that needs to be done, I'd be happy to walk with you and talk about it. Also, yes, the marathon. We're, we're, you know, we've been talking about fundraising, of course, and there's some civic groups in the town that are gonna approach. One we haven't approached yet is the marathon, so we're wondering if the marathon committee is something, or is a group that would consider,
How do you apply? How do you
yeah,
do
funding
anything?
something.
You call, well, Maureen Lord or John Hupp. They would make that decision,
Yeah.
you know. I don't know what their feeling is
Do
about.
they still have a paper that you have to fill out by a certain date and submit it
For what?
to be considered to receive?
Oh, one of the charities?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, you would have to call them about it. I think
Okay.
up until now, they had more or less decided to do the charity between Campobello and here and do the food pantry alternate years. However, they might consider money, you know, other than that. It would depend on the goodwill and whatever.
Worth asking.
Of course, taking the marathon sign down from the Welcome to Bex did not help your cause.
But that was not originally there, that's why it was taken down.
A lot of
I just
things
wanted
weren't
to-
originally
I just
there.
wanted to
Let's
add
not get
that.
into that.
No,
It
let's
was
not.
taken down.
Yes, it was.
I don't know what to do.
That's okay, you don't have to. So thank you.
Well, let's end on a happy note. It's a wonderful job. Oh, Wanda, do you have a happy note for us?
I do, I
Okay,
think,
good.
well, I do. You know, we had the AOS ad hoc committee, and I'm wondering what your schedule is gonna be like around the holidays, because we need to do 2 presentations to the town. And we have to really be thinking about, like, one coming up pretty soon. And I wondered what, you know, how you're gonna break up your holidays.
December 11th and December 23rd are the two
Okay.
selectmen's meetings.
Okay.
for-
So I'll just call Ms. Renee and come up and get on the agenda if I may.
Is the public information going to require at some point a vote?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Because we're compiling a special town meeting at some point in January for the formal acceptance of the Safe Harbor grant.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's always good
Yeah.
to have more than one thing the town needs to get together with.
Well, one thing we're gonna share too, Carol, is, you know, we've reviewed and reviewed the original agreement. And the interlocal agreement is part of this, and, you know, what did the AOS agree to with Lubec and all the other towns? And there were 4 things that have been breached, that, you know, we never received. And so, you know, I think we might have another avenue besides just this one. But I would like to give our first presentation, maybe on the 23rd of December, Renee, if it's not a busy meeting for you guys.
Do you think that people are gonna come out? That's the reason why
December
we
before
changed
Christmas.
our special town meeting for this grant to January, because we figured the holidays.
Or, yeah, January.
Unless I find out Tuesday, it has to be sooner, and then it'll have to be sooner.
Yeah, or in January.
What about, are you prepared for it now to do the presentation?
No, not quite.
Would you be ready the 23rd?
We could do it an hour before the select board meeting, right, at 5?
If you feel that's
We can try it. We can
convenient,
try.
yeah.
Sure.
So December the 23rd. And thank you.
So
That's
that
a
would be
Monday.
like a public informational type of meeting?
Yes, we have to present 2.
You have to do two,
Yeah.
okay? So, committee updates,
We have not met, as I said,
you're doing quarterly.
yeah, quarterly, so I
And
won't
what
have to do
about
anything.
economic development?
Economic development, we have all been talking privately about this broadband, and I think we're going to gear ourselves to present it to the town. Well, I suppose we could do it December, but let's not overload that.
Yes.
Yeah, let's wait till it's the big town meeting.
That sounds good. Well, I know that, the harbor board is always the third Monday of the month at 6. I had spoken to one of our key committee members that was going to be away, so since we're having this, group call from Washington on the 3rd, we're gonna set the safe harbor meeting at the 9th. That's the second Monday at 6.
At
Safe
6
harbor
now.
at 6.
That's in January.
It's time for that.
No.
The 9th of December, okay.
Yeah, what did I say?
No, I was confused.
Oh, December 9th. Oh, no, I was talking about the actual vote that we have to find out from, each grant has certain, legal verbiage that you have to put in the articles for the town to accept, and so we wanna make sure that they tell us what that is on Tuesday, and then we'll work with, we don't wanna like rush having to publish it, and imagine it will be the very first thing we do in January. Because the whole thing was called 2020 Vision, 2020 Vision, and it happened, didn't it? So, yeah, it was a dream, really. Harbor board, safe harbor, what, no oral left, no anything else?
Shellfish. What,
Shellfish.
Monday?
Shellfish is always the first Monday, so that will be December 2nd at 6. We'll do that anymore. And we need someone to fill in for, and we wish, Sonia well. I understand
Yeah.
that she's getting some tests, and we miss her tonight, and we're hoping she recovers soon, and we see her back here.
And she
And have
misses you guys too.
And having a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes.
And you too.
Drive safe.
Going safely.
We do long term.
No.
Yes.
I will make a motion.
Did we adjourn?
Oh, I didn't even hear that.
I think it's all up to the camera person.
You know, this guy has been subdued
Can't
tonight,
see her, we're getting
and I
thumbs up.
realize
All in
you're
favor.
controlling the camera, so, good show, good show.
Good job, thank you.